good morning. Hope you guys had a good break. Let's take a look here. This is week 1-3, and you are to copy all this right here. All right, so this is page 403. Let's take a look at it. This is example 1. On a blueprint, you have a scale factor, so 1/4 inch. So 1 divided by 4 is 0.25 inches. Okay, and by the way, you need to know that 2 marks represents an inch. 1 mark represents feet. Okay, so copy that down. So let's take a look here. You have a room, and you measure around the room. So you went around the room, and you measured the distance all the way around. And you came up with 23.5 inches. 2 marks. And the molding is 210 per square foot. So the scale factor is right here. So if any of you have ever messed around with models, airplanes or whatever, there's a scale on the front of it. So this is 0.25 inches equals 1 foot. Copy that down. That's a ratio, and that's your scale factor. Got to make this a little smaller. All right, so this one right here is inches. So you want to put the inches at the top because that's where the inches are right there. So put 23.5 and put X. And that represents feet. So this one is inches and this one is feet. Okay? So notice the pattern. Inches over feet, inches over feet. Now you cross multiply. So you're going to get X times 0.25 is equal to 1 times 23.5. When you do that, you have to divide right here by 0.25. So you're going to get X equals, and this is going to be in feet. Okay? So what you do is you take the calculator, take 23.5, divide it by 0.25. When you do, you get 94 feet. Okay, so you measured all the way around the room, and you got 94 feet. So the molding that goes around the room is 210 a square foot. So you're going to multiply by 210, and that's going to tell you how much you're going to pay for this. So 94, I guess I could have left it on there, times 2.1, and it's going to cost you $197 and some change. And that's how you do it. Now remember, this is called your scale factor right here. Okay? And that's how you read a blueprint. Alright? So on the blueprint, it was 23.5 inches. Let's take a look here at the next one. Okay, so I want you to draw this diagram. So the room is 25 feet by 16 feet. Remember, 1 mark represents feet. You have a door that's going to sweep here, and the radius is 8 inches, or 8 feet, rather. Okay? The radius of this circle, from the center to a point on the circle, is called the radius. Now, you don't want to put carpet there for some reason. Okay? Maybe it's the entryway to a room. So it says find the carpet price. Well, the carpet costs $9.55 a square foot. So what you're going to do is take length times width, so 25 times 16, and that's going to give you the square footage of the whole rectangle. Okay? So 25 times 16 is going to be 400. So it's going to be 400 square feet. But you want to subtract the doorway. Now, area of a circle from geometry is pi radius squared, but you only want 1/4 of this circle. See, there's 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you want 1 out of 4 pieces. So it's 1/4 times radius squared. So remember, you got to do the square first because exponents come first. So it's 64 divided by 4. So you're going to subtract 16 square feet. So you're going to take 400 minus 16, that's equals. So you're going to get 384 square feet of carpet. And the price is $9.55. So to figure out the total cost, and it doesn't include tax, times 9.55, you're going to pay $3,667. It seems awfully large. Let me check it again. 384 times 9.55, and that's what I get. So 3667.2. So it's almost $4,000. Okay? Anyhow, that's how you do it. I want you to go ahead and read example 3 and then work 1 through 10 on page 407. Make sure you paraphrase the question. Show me some work and check your answer in the back. Let's turn our attention now to period 7. So if you're not in period 7, you don't have to listen to this unless you want to. All right, so copy this down. Make it a little bigger. We're starting a new chapter here. Okay? So this is week 1-3, and today is 1-9. Okay? So I hope you guys had a good break. Let's take a look here. Here's a function. Copy that down. If A is positive, it's going to go up. If A is negative, it's going to go down. Okay? This number right here tells you if it's up or down. If it's a plus, you're going to go up. If it's a negative, you're going to go down on the graph. Okay? In other words, if it was a +2, then you would go up 2 and draw your graph. Okay? You do need a graphing calculator. Let's take a look here. This is the parent function, y equals x squared. So y equals x squared, you just got to memorize this. It's about halfway, something like that. It hits the arc, which I didn't do. Okay? Draw that graph. Now, 1/3 is going to make it fatter. You can look at this in the book, and you can use your graphing calculator. Okay, so if it's a fraction, it actually gets wider. All right? If it's a whole number, it actually gets smaller or skinnier. Okay. But this is still a U shape, not a V. Okay? Even though it might look like a V, it's not. All right. Now this number right here, again, tells you if it goes up, if you go up or down. This is a negative, so it's going to go down. So in other words, you're going to go up 1, like that, because of this +1. And it's a negative, so the graph is going to go down. So basically, it's a parent function, but it's up 1 and it's going down. This one right here, this is your up or down. Again, you can use your graphing calculator. And then this is the opposite of this. And remember before break, we said it's the opposite, which is a little weird. So in other words, you're going to go to the left, -2 on the x. That's your x. And then you're going to go down 3. So this graph right here, and this is a plus, should look like this. It should be something like that. Okay, again, use your graphing calculator. All right, let's go ahead. Copy down the standard form of a quadratic equation. Now let's work this problem here. Okay, it says sketch the graph. Now if you have a calculator, you can just plug it in. But I do want to see the work on completing the square. Now watch what I do. I'm going to take these two, and I'm going to keep in mind that I want to factor something out right here. So we're going to factor out a 2. Like that. Okay, so after we factor out a 2, the next thing you want to do is take half of this middle term. Well, half of 4 is 2, and you want to square it so you get 4. So what you want to do now is do it like this. So you're going to have 2 times x squared plus 4x plus 4 plus 7. Now, really what you're doing here is 2 times 4, which is 8. So you want to add 8 here. Okay? And we want to follow this one. Let me pick it up in the book. And this is where we are. Okay? So at this point, since this right here is actually a plus 8, we want to make a minus 8 to make it all equal. We don't want to change it. We just want to complete the square. So be careful with that part right there. So what you're going to get is a perfect square trinomial. So this is going to be 2 times x plus 2 quantity squared minus 1. There it is. And this is called the standard form right here. So remember, it's going to be skinnier because of that number. It's going to be the opposite of this, so it's going to shift over to a negative 2. And it's a negative 1, so you're going to go down 1. So let's see what we're going to do. We're going to shift over 2. We're going to go down 1. And since this number is positive, it's going to go up. And because it's a 2 right here, it's going to be skinnier. Okay, so it's going to be, your apparent parabola looks something like that, but this one should be skinnier and something like that. So that's the graph, and that's how you complete the square. All right, that's on page 245. Now I want you to turn to page 246, and we're going to wrap this up. So on page 246, let's look at example 3. So you have this function here, copy it down. Put y equals negative x squared plus 6x minus 8. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, they don't like the first one to be a negative, so we're going to factor out a negative. So you're left with x squared minus 6x minus 8. And you're only factoring the negative out of this right here. Okay, so once you do that, you got to change that sign to the negative times the negative and make it positive. Now you got to take half of this middle term and square it. So half of 6 is, of course, 3. And when you square it, you get 9. So what you want to do is put y equals negative x squared minus 6x plus 9 minus 8. But here, you're going to have a negative times a positive, which really is a negative 9. So what you want to do here is add 9 to do the opposite and make it a plus. Okay? If you want to keep it the same thing, you don't want to change it. And so finally, let me make it a little smaller so you can see it. And I do want to see this work. So you're going to be left with a negative, and then this is going to be perfect square trinomial. So that's going to be x minus 3 quantity squared, and then this is going to be plus 1. So in other words, you're going to go up 1. The opposite of this is a plus 3, so you're going to go to the right 3, that's your x, okay? Then you're going to go up 1 because of that shift, and it's a negative, so it's going to go down to negative 1. So it's going to be a parent function, but it's going to go down, and it's going to look like that. Now, you can use your graphing calculator, but I do want to see the work for completing the square. You do need to know how to do that. And for today, you're going to be working page 248. Page 248, I want you to do numbers 1 through 26. Okay? There it is, and have a good morning.